sustained by Novak Djokovic, probably maybe we would have seen a very, very impressive, encounter between both players. So you take a look at it, Jannik Sinner has been on a 20-match winning streak. That shows you that he's a player that is very much, fit, for this one. Zverev, I think, from what we're seeing since last season, the man has been, of course, on his toes. Finished last season as world number 2, currently as world number 2 as well. So it's been an impressive ride for him, and I think this one is going to be a tricky one. But if you want to look at it on paper, you want to give it to Jannik Sinner. Looking at how formidable he has been so far, his current form at this point in time. But it's going to be a very different ball game at this point in time. In fact, if things probably might, if things have actually gone the right way, we should have been talking about Alexander Zverev, being ahead of Jannik Sinner today. But this is what it is at this point in time. But for me, if you ask me, I think Jannik Sinner stands favorite, for this particular one.
Of course, Jannik Sinner, no doubt, is favorite in the bookmakers, mark out there, even the octopus, the odd analyst actually favors Jannik Sinner to make this one count. And of course, he's been on an impressive form so far since last year down to this 2025, especially, a year where he got more like his breakout season, talking about the 2024. But let's see how this one, that one pans out in that very one. Of course, you can't rule out upset in such a big stage, but Zverev is another big name player, so he just many times where so many expectations that have been reposed upon him, he doesn't just live up to that expectation. Let's hope he's able to give Jannik Sinner a run for his money this time around. Still talking tennis this evening on the show, Novak Djokovic ruled out Davis Cup clash with Denmark after sustaining muscle injury. The Davis Cup match between Denmark and Serbia is scheduled to take place at the Royal Arena in Copenhagen from 31st January to 1st of February 2025. In addition to Djokovic, Serbia have selected 3 players from the top 100. These are Miomir Kecmanovic, Dusan Lajovic, and Hamed Medjedovic. In addition to Rune, Denmark will field Elmar Mola and Austin Holmgren in men's single. Invariably, the injury that actually forced Novak Djokovic, to leave the court early this morning, has also contributed to Serbia, losing him, in their upcoming clash. This is a very big miss for Serbia.
It's a big miss for Serbia, very big miss for Serbia. At least Novak Djokovic being in the mix would have given them that boost, to have that high level of confidence going into this particular one. But missing Novak Djokovic at this point in time, I think it will really tell on them. The vacuum, of course, will be there because, of course, what Novak Djokovic can bring on the table at any time, any day. So for me, it's a very big miss, for Serbia at this point in time. But in the past of Novak Djokovic, I think it's not much of a worry. I think the man has done all he needs to do. When it has to do with tennis, as a professional at this point in time. So him missing such a tournament for me, it's not really going to tell on him. I think it's just going to tell more on Serbia, who of course would have actually, used his, skills and energy, to be able to go far in this particular one. But you talk about Djokovic, I think that injury, of course, was, right from the game against but he was able to maintain his own and he was able to go past, Carlos Alcaraz. But that was not the case against Alexander Zverev today. But we just hope that, he becomes for, a more Grand Slam now. Because don't forget, he's still looking forward to that, record of my record, seeing how to surpass that one. I think if you ask me, that's what, of course, is really keeping Novak Djokovic still going at this point in time. Because if he definitely surpassed that one, of course, you definitely want to give him that, tag of title of calling him the greatest tennis player without, any argument at this point in time. So I think that's what the man is looking forward at this point in time. Him missing a tournament, I don't think it will really tell on him or him feeling bad about it. But I think it's just for him to get himself fit, and I think it's actually a good one for him. We just hope that Serbia will be able to do without him.
We just hope that Serbia can do without Novak Djokovic, who is one of their biggest names in the world of tennis. Not just Serbia, but in the world of tennis. Novak Djokovic is a big name out there. But then, still talking about Novak Djokovic, Kingsley, do you think that with what we've seen with this injury problem, does this still stand a chance of also surpassing the record of McGregor and the rest of the big name players?
It stand a chance. It's definitely stand a chance. I think we have about 3 more Grand Slam, you know, this year. The French Open, you talk about the Wimbledon, and as well as the US Open. Yeah. So for me, I think Djokovic still stand a chance. There's no how this, you know, 4 Grand Slam will come and go, and Djokovic, of course, you take a look at the way he's playing, won't be able to get to the final, at least try to win one. If it happens this year that he doesn't, of course, get past that record, I will say there's something attached to that record, because a lot of players have been looking forward to surpass that record, and it has not been easy. Serena Williams tried and tried and tried till she went back and gave birth and got retired and all of that. This is Djokovic fighting now, you know. So if the year got past and Djokovic do not surpass that record, I'll definitely, of course, to me, I will say something is being attached to that record at this point in time. But for me, I think the French Open is just by the corner. I think Djokovic, of course, possibly will be fit before then. The Wimbledon is there, and as well as the US Open. So we just hope that, you know, the man will be fit. At this point in time, you understand, Djokovic is not that, you know, very much, you know, strong anymore like the way it used to be. He's 37 years of age. You, of course, you want to see that age has started telling on him. His body is no longer the way it used to be anymore. So that's why we're seeing this injuries, you know, setting in at this point in time. So we just hope that he will be injury-free, you know, and be fit, and look forward to see what he'll be able to do in the coming Grand Slam as it stands. And they're talking about his pairing with Andy Murray. I think we've really seen how useful that has been, you know, to him, especially in this particular Australian Open. When he was done against Alexander Zverev today, he said that he's just going to take time off and then cool off, and then probably talk about the future with Andy Murray. I hope to see both of them, of course, going this year. And I think with the both of them, possibly there could be another Grand Slam for Djokovic this year.
Possibly there could be another Grand Slam for Novak Djokovic this year, according to Kingsley. And of course, we are wishing him a quick recovery in that very one as he continues to chase that massive record, you know, becoming a 25th Grand Slam winner that will actually distinguish himself or distinguish him among the big names that have come and gone out there. But away from that, Emma Raducanu is still looking for a new coach after Nick Cavadi stepped back from his role to prioritize getting his health, you know, together. Kingsley, Emma Raducanu, his inconsistency of keeping a coach, do you think it has in any way, you know, affected his progress in the world of tennis?
Her progress remains, for me, I think really have affected her progress. Take a look at what happened to her in this current Australian Open, where Iga Swiatek actually smashed her, you know, like a kid. And that's to tell you that, of course, she still has a very long way to go at this point in time. I think it was in 2021 where she won the US Open. You know, we saw the coach at which, you know, she actually she was with at that point in time. But all of a sudden, you know, she parted ways, you know, with the coach, and she's been on she's been on the tutelage of different coaches, and up to now she's not really gotten what she wants. And now this one now, of course, you know, will be, I think, the 7th coach, of course, should be dealing with at this point in time. For me, it's not really good, you know. You know, you're just coming up to the limelight and you've been changing coaches. I don't think it's really good, you know, for her career, because this coach will come with this particular tactics, this one will come with this particular tactics. At some point, you might not, you know, really have a focus, you know, at the end of the day. So I think Emma Raducanu should try to see how she can maintain a particular coach. Look, sit down, take a look at who you think is good for your own style of tennis, or what you want to put out there, and then you go for it, and then you try to maintain the coach. You never can tell. You develop and continue to have that, you know, progress. So what I'm seeing at this point in time, I think Emma Raducanu should slow down in terms of, you know, changing coaches. If you ask me, just like you mentioned, that has really affected her performance, you know, recent. This particular Australian Open, of course, actually, you know, put up the fact that Emma Raducanu still has a very long way to go, because the way she was smashed by Iga Swiatek, you say that You know, this one is just coming up. And this, for a lady who won the US Open in 2021. So I just hope that, of course, you know, all of this, you know, changing of coaches, she will stop it and see how to, of course, put things together for herself.
But will you say that you are disappointed with Emma Raducanu after that impressive feat of her in 2022 where she won the Australian Open? Ever since then, she has not been able to make any strong statement so far. Are you disappointed with how it's just about the high level of competition within the WTA that have actually affected or hampered her progress so far?
I'm really disappointed, first of all. You talk about the high level of competition, you're expected to up your game. That's the thing. So no matter the fact that, yes, you won the US Open in 2021, you're not supposed to relent. I think, yes, after that victory, you know, the pressure was much on her. A lot of people were like, Emma Raducanu. People want to talk to her, people want to watch her play, you know, so the pressure was much. And I think she was too young for that. You know, she was too young for that kind of pressure. She couldn't, you know, absorb the pressure that was coming and see how to control herself. So she was too young, and that was why she, you know, at a point in time, she couldn't, she was unable to control herself. You saw her getting into games, feeling intimidated, not being able to compose herself, no confidence, and all of a sudden it resulted her, you know, dropping when it comes to do with the pecking order, and coupled with the fact that she's been changing coaches, you know, here and there, that has also affected her performance. So I'm really disappointed with Emma Raducanu. I think she still has a lot of work to do. She has to go and try to sit down and get a good team that could possibly give her that support. Take a look at Aryna Sabalenka, the world #1 currently. She has a very good team, you know, good set of, you know, trainers that could possibly keep her fit. Take a look at Iga Swiatek and the rest of them. So for me, I'm really disappointed. Since 2021, Emma Raducanu has not lived up to expectations. I don't think she has even gotten to quarterfinals of any tournament, you know, since she won that US Open. And for me, it's very bad at this point in time. We just hope that, you know, she'll bounce back. I thought she'll be coming with a bang this year, not until what I saw against Iga Swiatek. I was very disappointed. I just hope that, of course, you know, she bounces back. She bounced back, you know, strongly. She's a very promising tennis player, you know, a very beautiful girl in that matter. And if she possibly complements her beauty with hard work and, you know, achievement, take a look at what is happening to Aryna Sabalenka. As beautiful as she is, she's also toppling down with trophies.
True.
You know, that's what makes it, you know, fun. And I hope that Emma Raducanu took that same direction as well.
Okay, Kingsley here actually pointing out the beauty of Emma Raducanu, and we also think that she should also complement her beauty with brain and hard work on the courts out there. But away from that, let's dive straight to the world of football this evening, starting from the home scene, because the Nigerian Premier Football League, NPFL, has threatened to revoke the provisional approval granted to Kano Pillars to host matches at the Sani Abacha Stadium. Kano, the NPFL, directed the club to ensure that the stadium floodlight becomes functional henceforth. Recall that the management of the Kano Pillars promised to fix the floodlights upon approval to return to the stadium last November. The NPFL warned that they should flood the light not function. If the light is not functional, rather they will be barred from playing at the Sani Abacha Stadium. The four-time NPFL champion will host El Kanemi Warriors at home come this Sunday. Kingsley, infrastructural dilapidation has remained the major bane of Nigerian Premier Football League. This time around, we are talking about the flood lights. They were sometimes, restricted from playing at their home ground. They went away. They were able to renovate the Sani Abacha Township Stadium, and we thought, okay, everything is in order. But just few matches, played so far into the new season, the light is no longer functional, and the league body is actually, signing a note of warning this time around. Do you think that this is what we should be talking about, floodlights in our, stadium?
Well, what could be responsible, for the light not to function after a few games? A light that was just being put together and all of a sudden is not working. Then the people who are in charge of that particular job of fixing the light
should be held responsible.
Should come and give account of what they did.
True.
Did you get the right materials for that? At the end of the day. So it's really questionable at this point in time. I think the Nigerian Premier Football League board, they are doing their job because they want perfection. Because at this point in time, they want to take the league, to another level. So in a situation whereby all of this is happening, whereby today floodlights will be working, tomorrow is not working, it's really disturbing. Don't forget the MPFL is now on TV, is now on streaming platform, and from what we're seeing, sometimes the MPFL can possibly fix night games, and you can't play night games without floodlights. So I think for me, they're just trying to make sure that everything is in order at this point in time, and we hope that Kano Pillars will definitely do the needful, because in a situation whereby they actually fix the floodlights and in few days is not working again, then they should hold the people who actually were in charge of that particular job and see how far that can be done. They're a very big side. This is not what they should be struggling with at this point in time. In fact, Kano Pillars, they should be one of the teams in the MPFL that should be setting example, that should set the pace.
True.
I think they are 4-time champions of the league, so they know what is at stake when it has to do with playing in the Nigerian Premier Football League. So we just hope that they do the needful to avoid any sanctions from the MPFL board.
Still talking about the Nigerian Premier Football League, this evening Nigerian Premier Football League side talking about Enugu Rangers have completed the signing of former Super Eagles striker Michael Uchebo. The 34-year-old played for the Coal City club from 2008 to 2009 before sojourning overseas. Uchebo last played in Europe for Portuguese club Boa Vista. A towering striker is the third player to link up with the Flying Antelopes ahead of the second stanza of the Nigerian Premier Football League. Recall that Ejike Uzuachi and Patrick Egueno recently joined Rangers from Sporting Lagos. Big one for Enugu Rangers out there, acquiring the services of that tall striker, and we hope that his addition is going to help a defending champion successfully defend the title they won last time. But at this point, we'll take a quick break. When we are back, we'll head straight to Europe, because a lot happened and is still happening in Europe. We'll be back in a jiffy. All right, welcome back from that short break. Kingsley is still here. We are still bringing you the latest revolving around the world of sport this evening. Before we head to the continent of Africa, let's still serve you some games that is due to take place tomorrow in the second stanza of the Nigerian Premier Football League this weekend. We see Nasarawa United locking horns against Katsina United tomorrow in that very one. Enugu Rangers as well keep a date against Niger Tornadoes. Kwara United will play host to Shooting Stars, although that game has been postponed for whatever reason. Sunshine Stars as well will play host to Ikorodu City, who is also flying high tomorrow. Abia Warriors will play host to Bayelsa United. That match comes up tomorrow by 4:15 p.m. as well. Heartland welcome Lobby Stars on Sunday. Kano Pillars as well will trade tackles against El Kanemi Warriors, but that game as well have been postponed. Aqua United will also welcome Remo Stars at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium come tomorrow. Plateau United as well will play host to Rivers United. It's a battle of United, and let's see which of the United will reign supreme come tomorrow. But away from that, let's take you to the draw ceremony of the CAF, for the African Cup of Nations, because the draw ceremony for the 35th African Cup of Nations final will take place at the Mohammed V National Theatre in Rabat, Casablanca on Monday evening. Three-time African champions Nigeria have been placed in pot 1 alongside 7-time winners Egypt, three-time champions, and cup holders Cote d'Ivoire, 2-time winner Algeria host, and 1976 champion Morocco, and 2021 winner Senegal. Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell and team administrator Dayo Anibe Acho, alongside chairman of the Nigerian Football Federation Technical and Development Committee Alhaji Sherif Rabiu Inuwa, will attend the colorful ceremony with the heart of Morocco's administrative capital. The final tournament that begins on 21st December and ends on 18 January is unique in some ways, including being the first ever to start in a particular year and run into another year. Morocco will play host to Africa again since hosting the 1998 tournament that was won by Cameroon. The North African countries was handed the hosting rights for the 2015 finals, were docked at the 11th hour in the mindset of the Ebola scare across some nations in the continent. Pot 1 has Morocco, Senegal, Egypt, Algeria, and Nigeria. Cote d'Ivoire. In pot 2 have Cameroon, Mali, Tunisia, South Africa, DR Congo, Burkina Faso. In pot 3 we have Gabon, Angola, Zambia, Uganda, Equatorial Guinea, Benin Republic. In pot 4 we have Mozambique, Comoros, Tanzania, Sudan, Zimbabwe, and Botswana complete that pot 4. Kingsley, the Nigerian Super Eagles have been drawn in pot 1 in this African Cup of Nations draw. What do you make of the pot we find ourselves?
I think for me, yes, it's a good one for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I think this as a result of the fact that they did well in their group. I think they finished top of their group in the qualifiers, and that's why, of course, they have been placed in this position where they will avoid, of course, the big teams, just like you mentioned down there. They'll be able to play against Morocco in the group stage. They won't play against Senegal in the group stage. They won't play against Algeria. They will also play against Cote d'Ivoire as well in the group stage. That, of course, will actually give them hope, of seeing how to skate through in the group stage of the competition. But for me, I still think, that is not, of course, a guarantee or a yardstick that, it will be all hurrah for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, looking at the fact that they won't be paired with the big boys, as it stands. Take a look at the qualifiers. We talk about teams like Comoros, talk about teams like Mozambique, Botswana. Did you even expect them, of course, to have the kind of performance they had, during the qualifiers? That's to tell you that African football has now been taken to another level. Each of the African countries, they try most is kind to see how to develop their football. So all of these teams that have made this, sports, I think they are very much ready for the competition. So the Super Eagles shouldn't say, we'll be paired with teams that are not probably formidable or with teams that have not won the cup before. That is not a guarantee that you will skate through from your group or possibly win the competition. You need to be very much prepared. And it's good of the team we have a new coach, Eric Chell. I believe he's doing whatever he needs to do now at this point in time, because come March, I think that will be his first test where he has to play the World Cup qualifiers and qualify the Super Eagles of Nigeria, because that's what Nigeria need. There's no excuse, at this point in time. He knew that before he took up the job. So we don't want to hear any excuse. We want him to go ahead, qualify the team, take us to the African Cup of Nations, possibly give us our 4th AFCON trophy. I think with that, we'll be able to clap for him that he has done a very good job for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. That's what I'm canvassing for at this point in time. So it's a good one. We'll just see how the draws, of course, will pan out, and we'll see which of the teams the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be locking horns with in Morocco.
All right, Kingsley is actually advocating that the coach, talking about Eric Chell, is able to do well in the African Cup of Nations, but above all, to qualify us for the World Cup. I think for me that is a very tall dream, Kingsley, but let's see how
it's a tall dream. He knew it before he came.
Okay.
Yes, Eric Chell actually knew that, this job I'm taking, first thing first, my job is to qualify this team, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria, they're not in a comfortable position.
True.
He has to win the 6 games and deliver the position for us to qualify. Remember, we didn't go to the last World Cup.
Yeah.
We cannot miss this one. So he knew it before he came. So there's no excuse at this point.
Okay, let's see how that one pans out for Eric Chell. Let's see if he can be able to give us the World Cup ticket, because it's quite disappointing the position we find ourselves right now, considering the fact that we couldn't make it for the last World Cup. Missing out again for the successive time, I think it will be a very bad omen for the giant of Africa. I mean, we should replicate that giant in us by qualifying for all sport competitions, not just football alone, not just the World Cup, but in other areas of sport. Away from that, let's head straight to Europe, because a lot of games went down last night as Ruben Amorim's men moved 4th in the Europa League table with a dramatic last gasp victory against their Scottish opponents. United's character shone through just 4 days after head coach Ruben Amorim has stated his side were maybe the worst team in Manchester United history. With victory, United now 4th will definitely make it into the last 16 if they win away against Romanian side FCSB. For Rangers, it is a disappointing outing for them. It was a cruel way to extend a run in which Philippe Clement's side have not won away from Ibrox since 8 December. They dropped into the playoff place in 13th and need to beat Belgian side Union St. Gallois on home soil next week and hope other results go their way to gain automatic passage into the last 16, that very one. Kingsley, Manchester United, after losing embarrassingly to Brighton 3-1, it looks as though they are taking their time to also see if they can be able to possibly win the Europa or do well, because if you take a look at their standing in the Europa League right now, they are 4th on the log, but reverse is the case in the English Premier League. So do you think that they are paying much attention or more priority to the Europa than the English Premier League?
If you take a look at it, I think Manchester United, they're doing so well in the Europa League, having played 7 games, they've won 4, they drew 3, and they've never lost any in the Europa League. Even when Ten Hag was there, he tried as much as he can not to lose any game. We saw, I think Ruben Amorim came and of course has tried to, of course, help them continue that record of not losing so far in the Europa League. I think for me, if you want to take a look at it, they are paying much attention or being more committed to the Europa League game. Or probably you will see maybe the opponent in the Europa League has not been that tough than the teams they've been facing in the Premier League, at this point in time. But Manchester United, they've been up and down this season. They've not been able to stabilize themselves. You talk about playing pattern, you talk about organization, having that team spirit, confidence level is just 0 for Manchester United. So, like I said, a lot of work for Eric Ten Hag to do at this point in time. I think they should be able to see how to stabilize their strengths, both in the Europa League and as well as the Premier League. We just hope that, like some of their fans are saying, they're not being relegated this season because in the Premier League things are not that going well for them.
Mm.
But maybe you could say that the players are very much, committed. Take a look at what happened last night. Bruno Fernandes, they came came out and tried to see how to salvage that, one for them. So I think it's a good one. Probably, maybe you would say luck has also been for them in the Europa League, because that game yesterday, just like it says, maybe they would have possibly drew that one, but all of a sudden Bruno came and did the needful for them, and they were able to go home with all 3 points. So probably you could also say luck has also been on the side of Manchester United in the Europa League game, but they should be able to, of course, put themselves right, because luck will not always be there for you. You also have to fight for yourself at some point. We just hope that they continue in a very impressive fashion in the Europa League. Winning the Europa League at least will possibly be a good one for them, despite how poor the season has been. If Ruben Amorim can do that, at least be able to justify his stay for the period of time he came down to Manchester United, that alone will give the impression that he can possibly stabilize Manchester United. Let us see how it goes.
Winning the Europa League and also going to relegation, which do you think would be more preferable for Manchester United at this point in time? Why I'm asking is that so that we know where Manchester United priority lies, because presently they are seated 13th in the English Premier League. They are just few points away from the drop zone. So I'm thinking it looks as though they are paying much attention to the Europa. Maybe winning the Europa League and going to relegation, which do you see Manchester United? Or is that what they are thinking? That is why they are firing from all cylinder in the Europa and not doing well in the English Premier League?
For me, that question, if I will answer it for United, I would say staying in the Premier League and not being relegated, then forget about the Europa League. And that would be a good one for them. Being relegated. I can't remember the last time Manchester United had been relegated in the Premier League. So it would be so embarrassing to their fans, to the club, their dignity, their pedigree so far. United being relegated, just like we're talking about Manchester City at the verge of being relegated if they are found guilty due to the financial fair play rules and all of that. So it will be so disappointing. You could imagine a Manchester United fan would not be so proud to talk about this team again, because you're talking about relegation, like you're in championship. So it will be so disappointing, and I think for me they will lose. They will lose a lot of fan base. That's the thing. So I think for me, if you ask me, they should prioritize staying in the Premier League than the Europa League, at this point in time, because whereas they are paying more attention, if you ask me, take a look at it in the Europa League, but they should fight. I just hope that based on everything that has happened, Ruben Amorim, will be able to control himself, because the other day we hear he was very angry and he smashed the TV on the dressing room. That will also send some message to the heads of the players, and that might possibly act him in one way or the other. I just hope that he'll be able to stabilize himself, talk to these players, motivate them, and let them work as a team and see what they can be able to, achieve. I know it's not an easy one, because you take a look at the problem at United, it seems as if, the coaches are not the problem. Because since Alex Ferguson came and left, none of the coaches that have come has been able to do something tangible for them. So it seems as if maybe the coaches are not the issue, maybe possibly the players, or maybe there is something down there at Manchester United that maybe is causing this poor performance for some years now. So I just hope that Ruben Amorim will be the medicine that will be able to cure this whole sickness of Manchester United.
All right, let's hope that Ruben Amorim is going to be that antidote that Manchester United needs to cure whatever anomalies that Manchester United is passing through right now, according to Kingsley. But then, to him, he thinks that Manchester United should pay more attention in staying in the English Premier League than prioritizing the Europa, then go to relegation. I hear somebody say, God forbid. But away from that is not the reality. That is this. Away from that, there are other results that came through last night in the Europa. And we saw Bodo Glimt winning Maccabi Tel Aviv 3-1 at home. Hoffenheim lost at home to Tottenham Hotspur 3-2. Malmo also were beaten at home by 23-2. Qarabag 2. CSB 3. AZ Alkmaar defeated AS Roma 1-0. Fenerbahce, settled for a scoreless draw against Olympic Lyonnais. FC Porto lost at home to Olympiacos. Victoria Plzeň 2. Anderlecht 0. Rigas Football Scholar 1, Ajax 0, Union St. Galois 2, SC Braga 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 2, Ferencváros 0, IF Esborg 1, OGC Nice 0, POK Salonika 2, Slavia Prague 0, Manchester United, like we told you, they fought back in the dying minute to defeat Rangers 2-1, Lazio 3, Real Sociedad 1, Ludogorets 0, FC Midtjylland 2 in that very one. What a game that we saw last night in the Europa, and of course we'll still continue to keep you abreast with some of the biggest results as the Europa games continue to come on in the successive weeks to come. But away from that, there is a big news as well, that the Belgium national team has gotten a new coach. Kingsley, Belgium Football Federation today announced a Frenchman, Ruud Garcia, as a new national team coach after the sacking of Domenico Tedesco. The federation said they would formally introduce the former Napoli, Lyon and AS Roma boss to press at evening later today. Garcia, who has also managed Saudi outfits, talking about Al Nassr and French giant Marseille, will be handed the task of reinvigorating the Red Devils after a disappointing Euro 2024 campaign. Belgium last week sacked Italian-German coach Tedesco following an early exit from the Continental Championship this summer and subpar recent performances in the Nations League. Kingsley, Ruud Garcia, a very great coach, have coached for different clubs out there.
Is he really great?
Napoli. If he's not great, he wouldn't have been toying the world around Napoli, Marseille, Al Nassr, But on a serious note, do you think that this is the caliber of coach that Belgium need at this point in time? Taking a look at the nosedive in terms of their football. Belgium, of course, they used to be among the high-ranked team across the globe. At some point, they were rated second or even first. But today, if you go through the log right now, Belgium is not ranked in a very comfortable position. So the question is Ruud Garcia that coach that is going to bring back that high-ranked team that we used to know, Belgium?
I remembered him. He was there when Cristiano Ronaldo joined Al Nassr.
Yeah.
And after a few games, he was shown the exit door. So we just hope that after being a journeyman, and now he's at Belgium at this point in time, he'll be able to revive Belgium back to be that golden generation. Of course, people used to know them for at this point in time. I think it's really been downward spiral, of course, for Belgium. We just hope that Garcia will be the man that will, of course, revive them at this point. They have a lot of players, but possibly maybe the coach not being able, of course, to dish out the tactics that can help them win game. But let's see what Ruud Garcia will bring to the table.
All right, let's see what Ruud Garcia brings to the table for the Belgium national team. Away from that, new Paris Saint-Germain forward Ivica Kvaratskhelia has integrated well with the squad and is ready to play in Saturday's Ligue 1 home game against Rennes. Coach Luis Enrique said today the Georgian was not part of the squad for the 2-1 win at Lens, which came a day after he completed his €70 million move from Napoli for the 4-2 home victory against Manchester City on Wednesday in the UEFA Champions League. Ivica Kvaratskhelia signed for Napoli in 2022 and was named Serie A's best player that season after helping the club win their first Scudetto in 33 years with 12 goals and 13 assists in 34 games in all. Kingsley, do you think that it is the right time for Ivica Kvaratskhelia to be introduced into the Ligue 1 by Paris Saint-Germain?
Definitely it's the right time. Why did you buy him? Did you buy him to come and stay in the bench? He came to work.
Yeah.
Of course, he has to work, and that's why the coach is telling you that it's time he will be featured, very soon at this point in time. He's a very good player, and I think for me, Paris Saint-Germain is the best, is the best fit for him, at this point in time. You take a look at what he did at Napoli, helping, of course, them to win the Scudetto after so many years with Victor Osimhen. I think the man is a very good, player. Just like you heard from the coach, he has quickly getting himself, acquainted with the team, and is getting ready, of course, to be featured. We just hope to see the best, from him at Paris Saint-Germain.
All right, at this point, this is where we are going to drop the anchor. But before we leave, don't forget today's Sport Extra Ordinaire goes to no other person than Yannick Sinner, the reigning US Open champion. Sinner is the youngest man to reach the multiple Australian Open finals since Jim Courier in 1993. This is where we're going to say arrivederci, but do well to join us tomorrow morning for Sport Personality. There we'll have more time to converse here with you. But go to our different social media handle and follow us. We'll definitely get back to you. But like I will keep saying, that peace and unity remains a pathway to progress. Always enjoy here on Atlantic Television Network. Don't forget I did a show this evening alongside my co-host Kingsley Emmanuel. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways, and I'm saying gracias.